And we should be live. Let me just double check. Let me go and check this link real quick. Yep, we're live. What's up, everybody? What's good? This is Jay Knock, coming back at you with this boxing list. We got Poe once again with us.
How's it going, everybody?
Um, so man, what's been good with you?
Everything's been okay. Today's my son's birthday. He just turned 18.
Oh, happy birthday. Uh, what's the big plans?
Well, he went up to Pennsylvania, with his mother, you know. So they celebrating up there. Do something for him later.
Okay. Uh, just catch any of the fights, man.
Yeah, Peter Quillen and Angulo.
Yeah. I didn't catch it, man. I did not catch it. I went back and watched the recaps of it. The funny thing is that that card was actually held in my hometown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the card was held in my hometown, man. If I was I'm not there anymore, but yeah, it was like I seen it. I was like, what Bakersfield? Okay. Yeah,
That was a pretty decent card too.
yeah,
Undercard.
yeah. Um, man, I was gonna write down. I got so many things going on right now. Uh, I was gonna write down the what I was gonna touch on, but
Yeah, notes. I did make sure because there's so much going on too.
but I totally forgot about it. But I did, top of my head. Did you write anything down on the on those fights other than the Quillen fight?
Yes. One of the guys that's on round for round, Chris, Lil B Hop Colbert, he 13-0 with 5 KOs. He
That
had
was
a
that was the
so
cat with like the red or orange hair or something like that.
one time he had it blonde, one time he had orange, one time he had red.
Okay. Okay, that's
Yeah,
the fight that I wanted to really touch on because woo boy that KO.
yeah. And it makes a big difference that he killed this guy because this guy is 33-8 with 22 KOs.
Damn.
Yeah, you can't sleep on something like that because most people be like, oh, he fought a bum. No,
Yeah. See,
no.
I seen that knockout. I was like, oof. Because I went back and like I said, I went back and watched the highlights of him, and I was like, oh my goodness. But go ahead with the other ones.
You got welterweight Thomas Dulorme. I
Delorme,
know
yeah.
I might, yeah. Um, he had a 10-round decision against Terrell Williams.
Okay,
It was a decent fight. He stopped him by TKO.
okay.
Yeah. Then you got an 18-year-old. Uh, what was his name? Let me see. 18-year-old super lightweight Jesus Ramos. He's 11-0, 10 kills. He scored a spectacular knockout against Ricky Edwards. That was, you know,
Yeah, that
the
was another
guy
one too.
before. Yeah, that's another guy people need to look out for. Who else fought? Oh, Joseph Diaz Jr. He fought.
Yeah, didn't Diaz get stopped or was it? Am I thinking about?
You talking about that one loss that he had? I forgot who it
No,
was
no.
again.
There was a fight. There was a fight. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. Let me go back here. there was a fight. I think his last name was Diaz.
Uh, I don't know.
It was on that card.
No, the Diaz, he won his. Yeah, he won his fight.
Because it was let me see. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. Was it that one? Jose Gallegos. Galle, I can't even say that name. Jose Luis
The Legos.
Gallegos. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. And then
Mm.
oh
Yeah,
see, okay, look, see, there's Gallegos lost the fight, and then I was Jesse Ramos actually put that with that devastating KO.
yes.
Okay, okay, all right, go ahead.
Oh, Gary Russell brother, he fought Antoine Russell.
All
He's
right,
11-0 with 11 KOs. So that's I'm like, wow. He stopped the guy with a body shot.
damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed that whole card, man. I missed the whole thing. Uh,
What's called Ishe Smith, you know him right from the
yeah, yeah,
contenders.
yeah, yeah.
He fighting Bare Knuckles. He won his fight yesterday.
Oh, did he fight bare knuckle?
Yes.
How was that? I didn't even. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
I seen him post something up and he was out boxing the guy. I didn't even know the fight was gonna be yesterday. I thought it was gonna happen today or something. I didn't because it went under the radar. I guess he really didn't want it to be too, because now friends on social medias and he didn't really like talk too much about it. But I happened to catch that he said he was gonna fight, but I was like, when? And the fight just popped up. Yeah, he was out boxing the guy. He has hit the guy, dropped the one time. Yeah, he did pretty good.
Okay. Now the Quillin Angulo fight, man.
Yeah. See, old guys, see, to me, they wait too long. They supposed to keep busy. Then they come back and they fight and they don't look like what we used to seeing them do.
Dude,
Quillen, it was a busy fight. They stayed. It was like action packed.
well, I don't think that was because of Quillin. I think that was because of the style of Angulo.
Yeah, Gulo,
Because he
he
makes
brings it
fights.
to anybody fight. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the. I mean, his nickname. He's a dog. He makes fights, and I think that what do you call it was, I don't know if it was rust, if it was age, if it was
I think it's a little bit of both. Because
uh,
Quillen is 36 and then Gulu 37.
yeah, but what do you call it didn't look like he was 37
That's
Angulo,
true. That's
but
true.
Quillin, oof, Quillin he wasn't he didn't look good. He looked slow. He looked
And
old. He looked rusty. It was just
yeah,
bad.
he looked like he was second guessing his punches and everything.
He got caught many times, many times. It was a bad fight. But I mean, when I'm looking at when went back and looked at it, I was like, yo, that Angola put it to him. He put it to him
Yeah,
hard.
because they was trying to some people were saying nah, and Gulo was hitting him with the hardest shots, and Quillen was hitting him with more shots. Nah, and Gulo won that fight.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
No, what you
moving
about to say?
moving forward. Did you have anything you want to touch back on any of that?
No,
All
I
right.
wanted to talk about the ideas that I sent you last night. And this, everybody, because my friend, he tested it, but I already had the idea um in my mind, and I wrote it down somewhere. I said, Dad, what companies don't use
Hold
vodka?
let's put a pin in that
Uh,
one. Okay, let's
okay,
we'll jump right into that one. I
okay,
just want to touch on the up and coming fight. I think
okay.
is next, isn't it? Isn't what do you call it coming up next?
Oh, Spence and Porter next week.
Yeah, Spencer Porter next week.
Mm,
What do you call on that one, man?
I got Spence. I got Spence. Even though Porter is a he'll rough you up and do everything. Spence he can fight. It's like he changed his speeds. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, he didn't knock out Mikey Garcia and he was coming up."
But
People
Mikey,
are like Mikey Garcia a bum. He's not a bum.
yeah, Mikey Garcia is no bum. He's no bum at all. Like I mean that Mikey Garcia, if 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 he was on the same size as Errol Spence, it would have been a different fight. I think
Yeah, that more competitive. You know, it was competitive fight in general, but it would have been a better
it
fight all over.
it would have been a lot
Oh
closer than it was.
yeah, I think
Way
so.
way closer than it was. Um, I I see it the same way. I think it's going to be rough in the beginning, but I think what he call it's going to box him off to where he's not going to get close to rough him up. Uh, uh, um,
Yeah,
uh, Porter's not going to be get close to rough him up. Um,
yeah.
but I do
And I
see.
don't want to get, I don't want people to get it twisted because Porter fought some good people. I heard that he fought Usyk in the amateurs.
Damn,
Yo, I was like, what the heck? Usyk was that small?
man, man,
uh,
that's. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Porter's no, he's no bum either. But
no, 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 about
I,
long shot.
I, like I said before, I don't like that Porter style. Um, but I see uh Spence as a more of a boxer than Porter will be, and I think he can probably box him off to where he's not getting in close and roughing him up. Um,
Yeah, I actually think Spence gonna stop him. To be honest,
you think so?
yeah, I think so. It's too much bad blood in Spence. He keep throwing up that. Even the fans throwing up that Spence. His last performance against Mikey Garcia. So he said you didn't stop Mikey Garcia, so I'm not worried about you. Oh,
I
that
think
makes for a good fight.
I heard Spence talking about he's gonna stop him.
Yeah,
I
he said I'm
I
gonna
just
knock you out.
I personally can't see that. Like I just don't see it. It could happen. I just don't see it happening. And then don't we have after that? Don't we have Kovalev, um, Canelo,
November.
November? What do you
Yeah.
call? How do you call that one?
Ooh, that's a
Uh,
I got Canelo. I think Canelo gonna outbox him. Just can't get caught because Kovalev still got that power. Can't
yeah.
get caught. I think what's gonna go break Canelo's gonna break his body down, and then he gonna start taking it to him.
See, he's aware of that. I watched a little interview with Radio Raheem. He is aware of that. That his body's not as durable, and he knows that Canelo's going to be coming after that.
Yeah, I think what's going Kovalev don't like doing sit ups. Cause it's like he get. I think who was that? One of his coaches said that he was trying to get him to tighten up, get his body right.
Was it
Cause like when
Jackson?
he fought
Was
Yeah, it
Jackson?
was Jackson.
Yeah.
He said that he don't like doing sit ups, and Westcom knew that. Andre Ward,
Hmm.
everything he threw down, he tried to make it act like it was a low blow. Nah, all those shots weren't low blows. They were like borderline.
What do you think about him saying that he's the biggest thing in light heavyweight?
Who, Kovalev?
Kovalev, yeah.
Yeah, right now, because he to me he's the most known name out there. Really, it's some good fighters, but he's like the face of that division right now.
Yeah, there's no other big faces right now. I mean, you have they could make what's his name a big face. Teddy Atlas's boy. Um, man, what's his name? Guy that beat
The
the guy that beat uh Superman, Adonis Stevenson.
oh yeah, man, I don't know why his name
I can't.
escaped me.
Yeah, his name is escaping me right now. Um,
Yeah,
they can really push him. He can be a big thing in the light heavyweight division. But I mean, I agree with it. He's the biggest thing right now because they're not pushing any light heavyweights right now. I used to love the light heavyweight division because I mean Roy Jones was there, but there's really nobody anymore. I mean, I wish there was.
yeah. It's like most of the European countries they have the light heavyweight and cruiserweight like really that they got it.
Yeah, and then we got December. Then we got December coming up, and we got
Andy Ruiz.
Andrew Ruiz and AJ. How are you seeing that one?
I think it's gonna be a repeat.
You think so?
Cause AJ didn't really make major changes. He's like thinking that Andy. Cause to me, it's like no one believed that Andy Ruiz is as good as he is.
You know, I
They
was
keep looking at the body. They keep saying, that he shouldn't beat me or he shouldn't have beat me.
I was thinking about it, and there was no way Andy Ruiz is going to lose that fight. The reason why I say that is because Andy Ruiz just came off of a fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Andy Ruiz was active, more active than AJ was during that time. So and his fight and Ruiz's fight wasn't wasn't any like it wasn't a hard fight. He didn't take much damage. So going into that, he just rode that momentum, and that's how I think he already beat Joshua's because he was already prepared. I mean, and Andrew Ruiz is a solid, decent, straight up like good boxer. Like he's a great boxer regardless of his body size. He's a good boxer, and
Yeah,
he can fight very well. He does the things right, even though his body's not there, but he does everything else, and he got the speed, he got the power. He's not a super devastating power puncher, but his volume does more.
yeah, exactly.
Um, but I think it ends up the same way. Just and only reason why I say that is because you have AJ. I think AJ's in his head, man.
Yeah,
I really,
and my thing is AJ. He's not because you need them changes. Like he has to sort of fight like Klitschko. Klitschko made the changes. He got to fight Andy Louise like he got to grab him. You got to fight from the outside. But AJ he wants to get a knockout, and that's how he gonna fight.
yeah. Like I just think I think that what do you call it? And Anthony Joshua's in his head so much, and all these doubts and all these things are just playing in his head, and that could be now it could be one of two ways. It's a 50-50 shot. He could just completely um, go in there, turn everything around, win the fight. I don't see that happening. I see that it's chipping away at his heart, his courage, his drive to take the fight. It's making him doubt himself. That's what I
I
think.
totally agree. I agree.
That's what I think. But let's that pin. Let's go ahead and take that pin off. Well, you was telling me you texted me last night, and there was something that you wanted to touch on. Uh,
Yeah, with it's a good marketing strategy with the boxing cards and boxing the action figures. Like you get someone like Tom McFarlane. He has
hmm
the best action figures out there. They're like so detailed, and you can market right like they team up in some type of way, and they market that because fans they love the cars. Everybody getting cars, and that's a good way of letting fans know more about the boxers. And you can use it as a marketing strategy for as like you get this. You know, if either one of these companies do a Kickstarter or whatever, that could be a prize. You know, then when you get a special edition, you get two packs. I kind of hate that pack idea because it reminds me of 2K and EA. But if you're actually getting cards and stuff, because there'll be collector's items,
but you're
and
not,
you get these
but you're not,
action figures.
but you're not talking about cards in game. You're talking about physical cards, though.
Yeah, physical cards.
So that's all. That's where it differs.
Okay, yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's where it differs from the 2K and the EA. Um, I'm hearing, I'm hearing, and this is a guy. This is coming from somebody that is kind of tapped in, and he's kind of in the whole business field. Uh, and it's coming from if you're not familiar with Gary Vanderchek, Gary V.
Uh,
Um, he's kind of a motivational speaker. He's a kind of a businessman. He does a lot of marketing and stuff like that too. But he was talking about he's seen baseball cards and cards uh, being a big thing coming soon. Um, because you have a lot of the sneaker guys where the sneaker the sneakerheads and that sneaker business is kind of it's kind of getting is dying out. So there's still value in these cards, especially if you're pulling a if you're buying a $20 box, $30 box, I can't remember what they are now, and you're able to pull a $1,200 out of it, getting a rookie card of some sort, or getting like a gold plated LeBron or something like that, to where you can go turn around and sell it for a couple $100 because that's what the market is or $1,000 and that's where the market is going. Then boxing cards, if see it would have to have a push. It would have to have a push from the card companies and the boxing community, the boxing
yeah,
world, not the boxing community, the boxing promotions, the boxers themselves. There would have to, and the managers and the promotion teams, there would have to be a push together, but it would all have to start with the card companies. Now with the action figures, those can work hand in hand with the card companies. I do like the idea. Um, I think it would be a cool kind of promotion. Um, especially let's say you get like I can only speak on round for round because and it's not because it's any favoritism or anything like that. I can only speak on round for round because I can go onto their website and see their roster of what they have now. See, it would behoove round for round to get cards made and pushed out that way. And if they needed to do it as a help with the Kickstarter, whatever the case may be, you can do that. And see, and I'm only speaking on that, and they can do cards based off their roster, and
yeah,
that can go with the game and stuff like that. So it's doable. I can't say anything for Hard Knock Nights because, I mean, the only I know uh, Patrice Frank Galarza. I only know of like three people on their roster. that I can think of off the top of my head. I think there might be four that I know that I seen with digging and stuff, but
Mm.
I'm thinking only three right now. There's something in my brain saying four, but I can I'm picturing three so far. Like I can put like my mind has a picture of this and this boxer, but um, both companies can do it. Both companies can put out the cards, but it's just a matter of if they do it.
Yeah, and I was looking, doing some research on it. The card companies actually doing have the same like bump in the road as video game companies, far as getting boxers, or they got to go to the promoters. And I'm pretty sure the promoters will actually, if they talk to them like video games should be doing, talk to the promoters and tell them it's actually boosting up their fighter, visual, let people see them more and want to know more about the fighter.
Um, I mean that has to do with I don't know if it would be so much the promoter, but it might be the boxer's team. And or you know what, it could be the promoter too because the promoter could have a team assigned for that boxer for these said things of like PR and all this other stuff.
Yeah. But I think it's like a easier situation to go through with these companies because they did it before it was done. Because I heard them say with basketball and baseball and football, it's easy to do because it's one company. I mean, it's an organization. But boxing, I think it's still because it's like it wasn't never one organization, and they still have boxing cards.
I think they had boxing cards way back when.
Yeah, there was a lot of, especially when I was boxing. It was one of my friends. His name Clarence Coleman, and he had a card. He showed me. He's like, "Here, look at my card." I'm like, "Wow." There's a
Yeah,
lot of boxers walking around with their cards.
yeah, I remember cars being made and packs. It wasn't as big, but it was there. Um, but yeah, I mean, with the reinsurgence of cards in general, this could definitely put the forefront of these boxers. And hell, you can even do see. There's a lot of ways you can play this. You can also do uh, promoter boxes
Yeah,
where you can set said promoters. Let's just say PBC. You can do a PBC box for your boxing cards, and you can have all the PVC fighters in those what do you call it? Hold on one second. Go ahead and but what do you think about that?
yeah. One of them one of them packs. Especially like you could do like the amateur. If you could get an amateur picture and a pro picture, oh man, people will go crazy.
Yeah, and that can be where you can also do amateur packs too.
Yeah, so a lot of ways to run it because
Well,
definitely because when you have these cards and you like go to no this what I was trying to I was gonna go to um one of my friends that box USS Cunningham.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so he do comics and everything. So I was thinking about talking to him and asking him to push that idea. Especially if you have a boxer that push the idea, it's kind of easy for companies to listen.
Yeah, but I mean
He would be
you
the forefront of
that
or one of the boxers that's in the game, like in either one of the games. Like, yo, make boxing cards. Y'all team up with this company and promote, each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done, but you know, I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. Um, I don't think these teams have the financial backing to do all this. To have the financial push. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and a lot of questions with a lot of people. It's always going to be the money. What are they looking? What is the teams looking to do? You know, I'm playing outside right now. What are we gonna do? What can we afford to do? And what reality are we gonna face when is there gonna be actual game and what's gonna be in the game?
A actual gaming company doesn't have to push the actual cards themselves. They can get in partnership with uh, Tops or some of these card companies to where they can have a partnership with them though. That's one thing they can do.
And that's like basically what I was my idea and what I'm trying to say. For a lot of companies, everything seems like is money, money, money based, but everything is not money, money based. A lot of these things that companies like they scared of, it's not really as scary as they think it is. It's a somewhat easy thing to do.
Yeah, especially if you do partnerships. Partnerships is a key
Yeah.
thing. Partnerships is a key thing to where you're cross promoting, where you're bringing, you're working on your project, but you're tying it into a promotions that another company's doing, and you're not working off the same budget. You guys have your separate budgets, but you're helping each other out to where it can get the notoriety and the the finances that the card company might need or the gaming company might need. It'll both be there with the promotions. But the problem is, and here's another problem, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate again. The problem is that the two teams that are working on games right now lack uh, lack promotions. They completely lack promotions right now.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's what a lot of people keep saying, and I don't know how to address that without sounding like, "Yo, you against us?" So I'm not. I'm gonna be silent on that.
I'm not with anybody, right? I'm not with anybody. So
Yeah. So
so I'm saying nobody really knows about these games. It's a small market. I mean, if you want to take a look at, I mean, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm not gonna pull it up on the screen here, but I'm gonna pull it up on Instagram. Uh, I'm just gonna pull up round for round. They have 68 posts, 2,700 followers, and they're following 290 people. Right?
uh,
That's just on Instagram alone. All right, so we got Hard Knock Nights live. We have 22 posts, and almost none of them are the game. Almost none of them are about the game. Uh,
wow.
22 posts. We have one, two. There's two pictures of graphics of the game, and the rest are just events, stuff like that. Like it's really, it's not much about the game itself. Um, they have 249 followers, and they're following 876 people. That's just on Instagram alone, and that's not even like what do you call it? Doesn't even look any better. Twitter doesn't look any better. There's no presence. There's very few people writing about these things, and that's a problem. Like you're like that's going to equate to low sales because nobody knows about it.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Like even if you let's I'm just gonna do this, and I didn't even plan on getting into it, but since we're on it, I just want to do this. All right, so round for round has 2,700 followers, right? If you equate, let's say all 2,700 buy the game, right?
Mm,
Let's say it's at $60 a pop. That's only $162,000 in sales, and that's not even taking out the 30% that 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 the the platform's going to take out. If you're going to put it on PC on Steam, they're taking 30% out. If you're putting it on PlayStation, um, they're taking 30% out. If you put it on Xbox, they're taking 30% out. And that's just the platform. And if you're publishing with somebody else, they're taking their cut.
yeah, that's a lot of fun.
You see what I'm saying? Like you I don't understand the financial concept of some of these teams, and let like yo Hard Knock Nights, let's I mean you really can't even base it off of that. They're off of their Instagram. I mean there's if you look at their impressions of each game, it's not looking good. That's why nobody's talking about it. That's why nobody knows about it. If you go to a gaming event and you say, "Hey, there's a boxing game coming out," they're gonna go, "What? Who? EA's putting one out?"
Yeah, that's true.
And if you go through any of these comments, if you go through any of these comments, and I'm just being real. I'm just being straight up real. I'm not bashing any team. I'm not bashing any Hard Knock Nights. I'm not bashing round for round. I'm just being real. When we're talking about impressions of a community, a gaming community, it's very nil. Like there's almost nobody talking about these things. And seeing that the companies are not doing a big push on this, it is honestly it's almost a death wish.
Yeah,
It's almost a death wish for a game, for any company.
and I feel bad because that's what I deal with community. It's like my skill set is not being used fully. I promote on my own, on my own, do things on my own. And then when I do get people attention, then they start asking me questions. I can't answer these questions, or I'm not giving them enough that they want to know.
Yeah,
And they want to know where I stand in the company. And I said, I'm part of the team. That's it. That's all I can say.
yeah. And see, and as I'm saying, I'm not bashing these guys. I'm like, I have a background in finances, in business finances at that. Um, I was a small business banker for J.P. Morgan Chase. Not only that, but I worked in a role, not a financial role, but in a role in the gaming industry as a quality assurance testing. And I use both of these skill sets, and that's how I look at things. And I've had people in comments. Uh, one of the guys that's on Hard Knock Nights talk about I'm off base. I don't know what I'm talking about. I kind of do, man. You know, if you there's a lot of things financially that I haven't really even touched on, um, that a lot of normal day fans are not even thinking about and don't even know about. Like let alone the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine is taking 5% off top from your first $30,000 made in the game. From soon as you put the game out, they're taking 5%
Uh,
for the first $30,000. Then it changes from that. But that's 5% plus if you're putting it on PlayStation, PlayStation is taking 30%. If you're putting it on Xbox, Microsoft is taking 30%. If you put it on PC, on Steam, or any of the other ones except Epic, they're taking 30%. So it's like,
with Epic, excuse me, with Epic, they basically give you more, but they still take it. They getting it back in the end.
well,
Cause they, cause
The way Epic is trying to perceive it to the public is Epic is trying to say that, hey, we're for the developers. We want the developers to make more money. But the thing is that they want to lock you in a exclusive contract on PC only. You can do whatever you want on console, but on PC it's gonna be strictly Epic for a span of time. Like it could be 6 months, it could be a year, but you have to have a product for them to even a good product for them to even say we're gonna do an exclusive deal. Sometimes you won't even just because you make a game doesn't mean that you're gonna get on the Epic store. And yes, they are doing a lower cut. I think it's a 80-20 or like 76-22 or something like that. Whatever the split is, it's a better split on the developer side for the developers, but um, a lot of PC users are kind of not wanting to buy games on Epic because of the lack of features that they have. So it, it's it, it's it's a big thing. I mean, and then you got who's publishing the game. Are you making a physical copy? Like, there's a lot of things that I haven't even touched on that everyday fans are not thinking about. That I think about, even though I'm still when it comes down to it, I'm still a fan. But I'm just looking at it, I'm like, yo, some of these people are getting that like they're not being told everything, and not that they deserve it, but don't get people's hopes up. Not saying that games are not going to come out, but you have to get if you get the buzz, what I'm trying to get at is if you get the buzz for the game, people are talking about it. I'm talking about not just 4,000 people. I'm talking about where you're getting the gaming community talking about it because the gaming industry is huge, huge. Just PlayStation alone sold 100 million PlayStation 4s. So people are there, but 100 million of these people don't know that there's a boxing game.
that's true.
Not even I wouldn't even say a percent of that 100 million knows that there's a boxing game.
Yeah, my main thing is like I'm like marketing. That was like my first thing out the door. T-shirts. Let me walk around at fights with T-shirts on, or you know, give T-shirts to certain people in certain areas. Let them walk around, or if they go to a fight or something. Then you putting eyes out there.
Well, you're gonna have to have and this is like there's a lot of things that should be done that are not being done. There's a lot, but with that said, I we're waiting, we're waiting. Um, the the community's waiting. The people that want boxing game are waiting. But I mean, I would love to see the numbers of what the current servers are, current server numbers for Fight Night. That's what I'm wondering.
Oh yeah, I usually try to keep up with the.
I would love to see the the peak numbers of those because like on PC you can actually see peak number players per day and what numbers they hit uh, throughout the span of the game's life. Um, but the major thing that these guys need to do, and it goes in lines of what we were talking about the cards, is there has to be buzz drawn around these things, and as of right now, from what I'm seeing, there's like almost zero buzz of the game, and and there's a select few that are following it, but you can tell everything by the impressions of the what's happening with the game. And when they put stuff out, they look at the impressions. Look at and what I mean by impressions, look how many views it has, look how many retweets it has, look how many follows, likes. All those things are going to equate to what buzz you're going to do. Not only that, but media outlets. There's no media outlets, true media outlets talking about these things. Major publications.
Yeah, that's true. Because a lot of them they want visual evidence of something.
Not just that, not just that. There's no press kit for none of these games. There's zero press kit, and that's the bad thing. That's what will get companies talking about the games is a press kit because that's the industry standard is press kits. That's why that's why you see a ton of games on PC. That's why there's 7,400 games that were released I think last year on Steam. 7,400 games last year on Steam. It was either last year or 2017 that was released on Steam. You don't even have you barely have maybe 1,000 of those games being released on PC. Like it's there's a lot of things that goes into the the development of the game, and this is one of them, and I don't see it happening with the games. But who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I'm just a lonely fan that doesn't deserve to have my questions answered. uh, but you revised the list. Anything else you wanted to touch on about the cards and promotions and
No, it's just yeah. To me, promotion is a huge thing that need to be taken advantage of. And it's only so much that I can say as a person because a lot of people, some people really don't think that I'm part of the team. He really even the month got they're like, yo, what's going on? Um, slow rolling because they remember when EA back when I was moderator with EA and they announced round four.
hmm
They, they announced it like I said when the game coming out. They said it's coming out. I think when did it come out? Like December, November, but they like months and months away. I said, why did I was telling the administrators and the developers why you announce a game now and you know how the fans get. Make it more closer. Give it like a 2 month window so fans it'll start building up because it's gonna die down. But you know what they did? They did a smart thing. They had me as the moderator, and I kept building up conversations. Then the developers, that's when they started the whole the developers starting to answer questions within the forums and stuff.
that's a major
And
thing. That's a major thing.
yeah,
That
that was the
that's
idea that I kept pushing for. And the EA developers start coming in every once in a while, no answering questions and stuff. And even though they used to get mad at me Because I used to ask them some of the questions they knew I knew the answer to.
Right, I mean that goes against NDAs and all these other things.
Yeah,
So you have these questions have to be asked for the fans. So because there's some things that fans are not even thinking about.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Or they're just like they're so focused, laser focused on certain things. But um, that's like the biggest fail that I see that's happening on both sides of these teams is there's no interaction with the community. And they're dying for it. Now, I'm not saying give them everything. I'm not saying let them know the trade secrets of how many hours you guys are putting into it every day. I'm not saying none of these things. All I'm saying is have a Reddit Q&A or a stream Q&A on YouTube or something of that sort. Have somebody scrub through all these questions or even put a poll up, say hey, or what do you got, submit your questions to us. We'll try to do an answer for them. You don't have to do a live stream about it. You can just do a pre-recorded something and where you guys where people are answering questions. But they're not doing these things. They're so worried about oh what this team is doing, what that team is doing, and they're like nobody should worry about what the other is doing. Just focus on the game, make sure the games are being made the way that they are promising. And soon as they do that, they'll they'll actually get people to go, "Oh, I'm gonna rock with this game. I'm gonna stay with this side." Or, "Okay, I see how it is. All right, so I'm gonna look at these things. I'm gonna sit down and make my decision of based on what you guys are saying and what you guys are showing." That's important. That's what informs me of buying a game. Because I'm not going to sit there.
yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and throw money at a game just because it's coming out. Like hell, I can go play an old game that I already have. If you're talking about making a Street Fighter boxing game, hell, I don't want that. Who wants that? Who wants a
I
who
don't think nobody wanted.
who wants a time tested who wants a time tested uh uh fighting game with boxers? Like who like the verb that the language of that, like to me that just sounds like a Mortal Kombat boxing game, arcade boxing game. I don't Nobody wants an arcade boxing game. There's enough of arcade boxing games. Like look, like there's Creed, there's the Wii versions of Mike Tyson Punch Out. I'm not Mike Tyson Punch Out, but Punch Out in general. You know what I'm saying? There's games. Hell, go play something else. Like people want a boxing game, not an arcade boxing game. That's I don't know. That's the way I see it. I could be completely wrong, but I just don't see it the way some of these teams are seeing it. Um, but you did a revision of the list, man.
Yeah,
This is why we're here. We got on some other rants, but this is why we're really here. Is the boxing wish list. Uh, you did some revisions. So what should we just start from top
no,
or
let's just do the graphics part,
okay? Let me see
and
where
later
where
on, even if we finish the list, we can still throw some ideas out there, or going back,
so we're looking at graphics and presentation, right?
yes.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I think this is kind of small. Yeah, this is kind of small. Let me make this a tad bit bigger. It's gonna mess up the what do you call it? I'll just scroll over though. Um, where are we at? Where are we
Revolution,
at? Career. All right.
graphic
Uh,
representation.
realism and accuracy.
Oh, did we do the end of the year awards and stuff like that?
I don't think we did. Um,
Uh, oh no, we missed that. I'm about to skip over stuff.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I know we stopped off at error specific career modes.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Yo, if
think we
if
hit amateurs.
I might, if the stream does get shut down, I'm having a storm right now,
Oh, okay.
so just FYI, I heard some thunder and stuff going off right now, so thunder and lightning happening, so uh, things could go out. But where was that at? That was in stoppages.
I think we were stuck on the amateur thing. So I think that was the where
Five
we
two.
yeah 5-2.
All right, we got five. All right, here we go. All right, so amateur things, Olympics. If it's copyrighted, all right, yeah, give its own name. Yeah, we touched on that. Promoters, sparring partners. All right, promoters. Giving longevity to the game. Promoters will have different traits. Now promoters. I mean, I would be leaning towards more of a boxing sim.
But the promoter, they could actually be seen or actually like NBA 2K. You got the my GM like and the GM could be seen. You could like go and talk to him or whatever at a desk or something. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but you're
And it
you're
could take
the my GM the my GM thing is you're in control of the GM and
yes.
you're picking the players and they come after you. So you're talking about is this let's see. I think this is more of a promoter mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could fit into the offline modes more. But one of my friends was saying that it can actually fit into online mode.
It can be an online mode because what do you call it does have um, the leagues and stuff to where you can do it online. Um, I'm for it. I'm for it. It's just a matter of actually implementing it properly
Yeah.
in a game because I was thinking about it before we got on, before we went live and everything, and I was thinking about it like you. This list is all these things in the list are very are great, but there has to be a way to implement it um, for consumers to put it in a game
Yeah. For the word.
for it to translate into
Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
positive of gameplay. But the like the promoter like the my GM thing it will work. It will work. And that's something that I'm not seeing even advertised in any of the two games. I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I don't know um, or any like even mentions of it. I haven't even seen anything on it. And like I said, I've personally been kind of vested in the whole boxing game because it is a something I want. But
Hmm.
I like that idea. You know, you got the father figure, Don Mafia, uh, former boxing star, star maker, and the selfish one. I think that's it. I don't think I'm missing any. So these would be different archetypes, different traits for the promoter.
Yes.
I could dig that. I can definitely dig that.
And I keep and this one thing I wonder. See, I've never really talked to a dev heavy, talk to like really talk to him or whatever. A lot of I keep hearing people say money, money. This is gonna cost a lot of money. But what is the figure? You know, throw out numbers out there that you think it would cost, and you might catch the ear of somebody that has the resources.
Now you're talking about like features in the game, right?
Yeah, like features and stuff. People say, "Oh, that's I always hear company. Even yeah, you used to say it, but they after I wear them down, they'll put something in that make me be quiet. But you know, the money part, I don't. You can't say it's a money thing if you then put numbers out there so people can talk. Be like even the fans probably give you extra money. Like I heard fans say, I would pay $70 or $80, even though I know I wouldn't, for a boxing game if you give us more or you give us an actual game that we want.
See that's the thing is where I think that like and I can only like I said I only know of two. You said there's more. I only know of two that are out in the forefront that I that have pages and stuff like that. Um,
Mm,
I think that um, I think it they went out way too fast. Like they should have. That there was a they jumped they ran before they were crawling. I think me personally they ran before they crawled. And
yeah, I'm gonna put this out there, but I'm gonna let it fly where it go. I remember when was it round three or round four? I can't remember, but they put out models that weren't actual real life boxers to advertise the game.
hmm
Like they showing the motion that they had, the sweat and everything popping off the fighters. They weren't real fighters. It was just models before they actually got the boxers in the game.
yeah,
And a lot of companies could go that way. Just put models in there. If people see what you're going for, then they'll be like, all right, we got a boxing game now. We're not kids anymore. Now we know that that's what we're going to look forward to when you actually put the boxers in the game.
yeah. And see this is the thing. Like I said, I kind of know development processes and stuff and how companies do things. Uh, um, typically, I should say. Normally, this is how they do things. Is and when you're developing game, you make a prototype, a
Yeah,
nondescript, a nondescript. It's just these are our ideas. This is what we're looking at, and they put a prototype. And that's what I'm not seeing at all. Um, I mean, you can probably say that with that one trailer like many years ago with Hard Knock Nights, but I mean that wasn't a prototype. Now if you want to get into it, if you want to say like a prototype, like a work like a working like you see things getting working, you can go back to Project Boxing. That was the start of how a game development actually happens.
yeah, and they got a green light from Epic, I think.
Nah, Steam.
Yeah, Steam, my fault.
It was
Yeah,
part of
Steam.
it was part of the Steam's green light thing, and they Steam actually closed that department, that division down, and they changed it into something else. But yeah, they were on Steam green light.
And there were fans actually saying they were willing to help them get that game going.
Yeah,
And I talked to them for months about it.
that game, honestly, like I'm looking at, I'm like, man, this isn't the best like super polished game, but
Potential.
there that has roots in it. Like that looks that looks like some good solid building blocks, and I can see it. So I could say
Yeah.
so if there was a Kickstarter for that, I would say, hey, Here's my money for the let's stand behind this.
Yeah, and he got enough going on for it to be a Kickstarter.
I think if he's listening, if he hears about it, man, pick that stuff back up, man. Let's leave a comment, man. Let's talk about it. Let's let's try to get that going. I like that Project Boxing. I really do. Um, I don't know.
Oh,
I can't remember the guy's name. Um,
his
and
name Brian. I
Brian,
forget his last. Yeah, but I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna try to get him on as a we can talk to him. That'd be good.
uh,
Cause I
if you listen, man, definitely let's hit me up, man, or leave a comment to where we can get in touch with each other, or have Poe, whatever. We can talk about it and see what we can do, man. Because that like I like what he had was a solid foundation, super solid foundation, and I dig it. Um, but moving forward, sparring partners. Um, let's see to add level of strategy. Okay, could play sparring sessions. Would emulate the next opponent. Tendency to okay. See, this will go into like mini games. See, a lot of this right now, what I'm looking at
uh
is will be part of career mode, and it would also be a part of mini games, like the superstar demands. That would be more in career mode, and um, the actual like legacy part of it, like your when you're picking fights and stuff like that. That will go more into that aspect of the game. Sparring partners will be more of the mini games that you train your fighter to build your stats up. Real life, let's see, superstar demands kind of touch on that. No limits of time you can fight. Hold up. Oh, okay. So like you can keep on fighting if you want to if you're old. Is
yeah,
that
that's one of the things I used to beg EA for. Cause they cut you short. You can't build a career with the same numbers that you see your favorite fighter or a past fighter. If I want to have 100 fights and I don't get beat up on or whatever, I should be able to have 100 or more fights.
Yeah, but the programming side of it, you have to they have to program something to where there's a
A
uh,
wall.
not a wall, but a point to where, kind of a wall where there's like they would have to track how your fights went, how many punches you took, how much damage you took, to where it starts decreasing, or if you hit a certain age, then your what do you call it start decreasing your stats.
I'm
Um,
glad you brought that up now. Like a game like Titanfall, they use perimeters that even though you're not actually doing physical, you can see physical damage. Now, couldn't them parameters be put into a boxing game with actual fighters?
as in,
The how much um damage you take, and all these different things, your age, because they got on in Titanfall, you got what age you want to pick the fight, how and as you take all these different fights, even though it's not you don't visually see it, your fighter is taking all this damage and everything. So I kind of figured that that could be programmed into a game with visual boxers.
yes, it can. Um, the only problem is it takes time. I mean, I don't see that as a problem, but team people can see that as a problem. because you're
That
gonna you're
you know what I wanted to know, and then these interviews that I want to do, like people that can come on the show. How many when you're doing a game, a major game or whatever? How many 3D artists you have? How many coders do you have? I want to know all these things, and is it being put in play?
well
Does the
it all depends on the scope of and the scale of the project. I mean, there's plenty of examples out there without even talking to uh, um, somebody that put out a game or someone that's been in the industry in that aspect. Because I mean, now you have a game, a 2D platformer called Super Meat Boy. That game is, like I said, it's kind of like Mario Brothers, a 2D platformer, but it has over 100 levels in it, and it all is always changing. Two guys made that game, just two
wow,
guys. So and then you have uh, a bigger scale game. Let's say uh, let's say God of War. God of War is going to have at I think I don't know what Sony Santa Monica I can't remember what their team is. It has at least 100 people on up working on a game that scale. You know,
wow,
and then you have a game like let's say in its disastrous form it is in. Let's say then you have a game like Star Citizen. If anybody's not aware of it, I would suggest go look at it, kind of get some more information about it, and see what's going on with it. That has, I think, 3 studios spanning across the world, and it has about 500 plus,
wow.
I think, on all the studios. I could be wrong on the number. I could be off a little bit on the numbers, but I think it's up there. It's up there to
Yeah,
five,
but
at least
three
500.
studios, that's enough right there.
You know, and that game's still not done. That game still
Wow.
hasn't put out what they've promised. So it's just a matter of what scale you have. I mean, there's a lot of things. What scale you have, what the focus is on the game, how you implement those focuses, and how you keep people in line in those focuses to where you're meeting marks and you're meeting goals being done to where you're hitting, okay, we have animations done. All right, check, that's off the box. Now we have to get fighter models and fighter scans. All right, that one's done. Like there has to be a process in place, and from 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 how I'm seeing, I don't see that there's processes in place like these things where it's so dialed in.
Yeah, I see it. I see what you're saying.
So I mean that's what I'm looking at. Um, and you can have you can have games that have a solid team, have 20 to 100 people on it, and you can get various products, and it all depends on how they implemented their 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 game. Because you take a look at Anthem with EA, BioWare. BioWare has a team at least 100 plus people. BioWare's known for solid games, or was known for solid games. Look at the launch of Anthem. I think that the game's pretty
Yeah.
much dead now.
I think it's more so when they go under like when it seems like when anybody deal with EA,
Nah, it's not so much that. It's not so much that because if you listen to the stories and watch the stories and read the stories of what happened with Anthem itself,
mm,
that environment was horrible, and it had nothing to do with EA. It had to do with the actual developer itself,
Oh,
because
okay.
they kept on changing mechanics. They kept on putting mechanics in. They kept on taking them out. They kept on changing the story. They kept on changing the scope of the game. They didn't have they like what we seen at E3. That's what was done, and the team didn't even know what do you call it, like the what the game should be until they put out that trailer at E3. When they put that trailer out in E3, they're like, "Oh, okay, this is the game. This is the game that we should be making." And they still ended up failing in that because there was a lot of problems with actual, like I said, direction. It all falls down. You can do a solid game. You can do a really good game with 5 people, but if the direction's not there, you're gonna have a product like an Anthem, like a Don King prize fighter, where it's
Yeah,
not gonna turn out to be a quality product. Like I said, there's a
and
lot
that's
of
crazy because they got aware that the company, like with Don King Prize Fighter, everybody is holding 2K accountable for that.
yeah. You really can't. At the time, 2K wasn't 2K.
That's true too.
At the time, 2K was not 2K. They were barely coming into themselves. They didn't really 2K really didn't come into itself until about uh probably NBA 2K11.
Yeah, but their football games is still doing pretty good. 2005.
Right, but they didn't. I'm saying they didn't they weren't the powerhouse that they were until then.
Oh,
They
okay.
had
Yeah, you're
they
right.
had solid games, but they weren't the force as they were
They
as they
weren't a threat.
yeah, they weren't anything. And they were something. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying
Mm.
2K, but they weren't that big player as everybody looks at now and says, we want to be a 2K style game. We want to be like WWE. We want to be like NBA 2K. We want to have that community or whatever that case may be. But they didn't come around until I would say probably maybe 2010, but like 2010, 2011, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
But real life counterparts, man. Um, legacy mode.
Filthy fighters fighting like they sell. They do what they do. Basically tendencies, but every like the mannerisms and everything that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago about like Mike Tyson and everything. Everybody has to, you want a fighter to you can look at him and say, that's him. That's what he does. Oh man, it's authentic. The things that we say like 2K gets right with player movement and their tendencies.
hmm See, I think that will have to play there would have to be, and I'm just trying to think of the development side. Um, is they would have to program it in that year, those year cycles, and
Uh,
they would have to based off the simulation of that year of fights, they would have to determine, and there would have to be a couple factors in there, and they can plug those factors in. And it's just a matter of having somebody that knows how to code. That's all it is. Is just somebody knowing how to code and them giving proper directions or you the person telling the code, the person that's coding, this is what we want to be done. Um, is these factors, and it could be done. It could be done, but it's just a matter of who's writing the code.
yeah.
There is certain limitations of what games could do. I mean, expectations of getting a super just like one to one uh game for boxing is you're not going to get a one for one. You're going to get something close, but you're not going to get a one for one because it doesn't. It some things don't translate to gaming.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me see what did side turn pro. Yeah, so this is what we were talking about last week too about coming up. What else on here that your hard punchers tendencies? Okay, this is all talking about tendencies then.
Where you at?
Live counterparts.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all talking about tendencies here. So trainers, pool of trainers, actual license. We kind of touched on trainers. It would be nice to
Yeah.
implement them. Even if it was just, but money wise, even if it was just a cutscene, that would be nice too. Money spenders. What's this? Something money about trainers. Oh, you're talking about like prize money. When you're fighting in game.
Yeah. Or somebody like Mayweather. He want to buy all this expensive stuff.
Okay, so you're like, yeah, I think that would be too much though, man. That'd be too much going in another direction. Um, I'm trying to think of how that would work on how gameplay wise how they can play.
I saw it. It's basically like has like the I saw I played a couple of games like this, but I can't remember because they're so old. And that's the funny thing. They're older games. Like for I think it was a football game that I played. That one of the, with the trait you can make the person a money spender. He wastes his money and stuff like that, and he has to fight more because he has to take fights that he normally wouldn't take just to keep up with his lifestyle.
That was see that
Sound
gameplay.
like a career thing, right?
It would be kind of a career thing, but on the other hand, like that's more of a like that's getting in debt, like a in-depth sim, and
Yeah, like a take some.
yeah, that's
Some of these ideas you're not really looking for. Sometimes you gotta ask for more, and you get the almost the minimum. Sometimes you put all the ideas out there. That's why the list is big, and some ideas they be like, it's a good idea,
yeah,
but we
that
can't do it
one
right now.
that one is I mean you can implement stuff like that. I mean you can put in stores like they have in 2K to where you're buying tattoos, you need this and you need that and you need this and you need this, and that you can kind of make that affect your
But you don't want
training,
to have
your all
actors in
this,
the game.
right? Well, I'm talking about the money spending.
Okay.
I'm talking about the money spending alone. Just like you can put like stores, you can go buy jewelry and this and that and tattoos and clothes, but where are you going to show that off? Now that there you would need uh like a online hub
Yeah,
for that,
that's what I was just thinking about. That I never looked at
like
it like that,
like
but
like
yeah,
2K, like because it would be pointless on an offline mode. It would almost be it would to me I'm thinking it would be pointless in an offline mode. It would have to be to where it's implemented in like a my career where there's a online hub where you see other people and stuff like that. And then there's just like a big gym that you can go to. Now like man, I wish there was a NBA 2K style game for boxing because you can implement all this stuff in there.
yeah, definitely.
Message center. I think there should be a message center. Um, like you have your phone on 2K. I keep on going back to 2K because that's like the major sports thing that we have right now. I mean, yeah, we have UFC, but that's on its own thing. I think that's on its own island. Um, but yeah, message centers where you have your phone, pull stuff up, and you can. They should make it a little bit more in depth. One thing that I don't like about 2K is like I can't tweet something out. I can't reply to people. It's just things coming in. I can't put tweets out to create like it would be nice to create rivals that way, rivalries that way, and stuff like that. Pick up a newspaper or pick up a tablet and flip through the sports column and see all the all the articles written about you or something like that or other fighters and stuff. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, fans love stuff like that. They see their character actually on some type of publication or media.
All right, so we got range fights offline. This is main reason why. Okay, legacy modes become. But you saying offline?
Yes, this is an offline mode that I'm talking about. See, we still basically a lot of this stuff is offline stuff. It's actually a section which I realized after I was redoing it. It got a lot of this stuff, but it explained it for online.
Okay.
And that's why I said that should have the offline. I mean, the online part should have been first because I noticed everybody that talks about this list that's online players, they're attacking like nah 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 nah. I said hold up, but there is an online section.
Now, okay. See, I don't think like a legacy mode on offline. Like you shouldn't be able to move arrange fighters. Um, but you should be able to pick. There should be the one problem that happened in especially in a lot of the fight night games is there wasn't enough movement, enough volatility, I would say in the brackets as you're like in the top 10 and all that stuff. Like there wasn't that
Mm-hmm.
much movement. And I think there should be a lot more movement. Like there should be a lot more volatility in that to where people get dethroned. Not saying you personally, because if you put in the training and you have the skill, you can win. But there should be a lot more to where, as you were saying, as it's saying here, the rank 1 to 5 people are always the same. And fighting, as you say, as it says right here, fighting Tyson 5 to 6 times gets repetitive and boring. That's what kills a lot of the legacy modes. Um, and like that's why I'm saying volatility. There has to be if they do a career mode properly, a legacy mode properly, they could they can trickle in stars, whoever's on the
Yeah,
roster. Not just automatically put them up top.
I remember EA they did something, and I can't remember which game it was. I was like, oh, like if you were the belt holder, like within a career or something, you still had that belt when you was offline, even in fight now mode. I was like, yo, that's crazy. He's my character still you could decide to take the belt off on when you just fighting a fight, but it translated to other modes.
That would be nice. I don't remember which. I don't remember that, but yeah, that would be kind of cool. Um, and the end awards, the end
In
of
the
the year.
end of the year.
I think that's nice. I think that was a good thing. Like especially in Fight Night 2004, I like that. Um, for presentation wise, they can do something like the boxing awards, to where there's like a like kind of an like a ESPYS kind of style
Oh
thing.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to where you got it doesn't have like it could be an animated cutscene or whatever where people were where it kind of pans around the screen and you got presenters and stuff, and it presents about a couple, what do you call it, just for gameplay. I think they could. I think that would be something.
Yeah,
A- a-
I seen stuff like similar to that on the older games, so it definitely it'd be a nice fit.
And that can also go like to where you're retiring, to where you can get like the Ali Trophy or the Jack Johnson Trophy or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like how they do for for these boxers when they retire, or even like a Hall of Fame presentation for you at the end, like an award show that they do for you. Like
Yeah,
there's
that's definitely good.
that'll be a good thing. I've always liked the year-end awards because it kind of gives me something like, yo, I want my name on everything. That's how I was.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to have my creative fighters, they're fighting their own fights. And I said, oh, there go one of my creative fighters. He won amateur of the year. And I
Yeah,
used to be like amazed. I'm like, oh,
that's something. What is this? Be the prospect when you have okay, better by okay. What is this? Right up under the end of year awards.
for a hot, if our prospect beat you, he become the hot, he get the hot prospect award.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, I'm following now. Knockout of the year. Yeah, they should be definitely look into the stuff and see the knockout of the year. That could be part of like the spectator mode, or they can replay like I don't know. There's a couple things they can do. They can they can even do this for an online thing too, to
Yeah,
where and I'm getting way ahead of myself because I'm thinking 2K, but but um 2K has this thing to where they have the TV show 2K TV, and they do it weekly. And with the weekly show, they have fan submitted dunks of the best dunk, best playmaker, stuff like that. Now they can do the same thing with knockouts of the year and stuff on online.
oh yeah. Cause I remember EA they did something like that too, but I guess 2K said, bro, since they not doing nothing really with it, we gonna go with it. Cause they used to tell us to submit boxing, great knockouts that they had or whatever. I think that was back in round 3 or 4.
Yeah, see with the way what do you call it? That could be a big thing for these companies to get impressions. If people are submitting their fights back to the company to where they got this person putting all these things together, and then they kind of see if they can tie that into the game to where they can have a in-game end of the year award for the online mode, and this is the knockouts of the year nominees.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, like this, it can be an offline thing to where they can just program it and stuff like that to where you can do it on your legacy mode, but they can actually do it online to where it's the community being involved, and
Yeah,
and the community can vote for each other. But the thing is that people have to know about the game.
that's
Uh,
true.
but graphic and presentation, realistic cut, swelling, boxer stare downs, better and more knockdown and knockout animations. Um, let's start on cut and swelling. First game that implemented the whole cutting and swelling thing was round two. That was when they first implemented the actual cutting and swelling and those animations and stuff. Because you got to play to use the end swell. if you remember that,
Oh yeah.
where you can use the end swell to take down the swelling. I wish
See,
they would keep something like that in the game.
a lot of people like that move, but some people like it's too tedious to keep doing that in every fight. And my thing is like with the trainers, or some trainers are cutmans too, or your cutman is he's a good cutman or he's a bad cutman. He can take care of your cuts and your swelling,
Right,
and
but
also
that
build.
see that can play hand in hand though. That can play hand in hand to where you're thinking in your career as you're playing along. Okay, do I hire a better guy that has better stats to where if I'm using the end swell and and repairing cuts and stuff like that, how they had it in round two, um, those that because those remember those numbers. It was
Yes.
like and they would go down. But see, it never really meant anything because the trainers weren't implemented. Like like if you get a what's his name, the late Floyd's cut man.
Oh
What was
yeah,
his name?
Burns. No, wasn't it?
What was his name? Was it
Had a lot
Strada?
of stickers on his head.
Was it Estrada?
I thought it was Bernstein or something like
No,
that.
no, it's not Burns. He was a Hispanic. He was a Hispanic guy. Hispanic guy.
I forget his
I
name,
want to
but
say
the
his
one
name
with
was
the
like
stickers on his head.
yeah. He had all the little pins on his little Kango, like
Yeah,
beret, whatever it is. But it wasn't beret. It was a Kango hat. But he was like a great cut man. You know, there's others. That's the first one that came to my head. Um,
yeah,
if you hired somebody like that, it will lower those numbers quick, faster than if you had somebody that was not as good or not as experienced. You know, that can play hand in hand with that to where
yeah.
that game is not that little mini section is not so tedious.
Do you think that should be an option that you could do it yourself, or that the person do it?
Well,
The
see if you see this is how they can this is how the company whoever's making the game can
mm,
implement this thing is they can and this is hey it's a video guys whoever's listening hard knocks or round for round if you guys implement this is free information but they can they can if you sim it, it will be based off of that 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 cutman's stats,
yeah,
but it won't be you're not going to get the full effect if you did it yourself or the lack thereof. Like you might get a see if you sim it and he's a great cut man, you might get a better result if you simmed it versus if you did it yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, totally.
Because you can spend so too much time on just the cut and not the swelling, or or not focus on the swelling at all and just focus on the cut, and you're not getting the full effect. But if you sim it, it's going to be based off of all of his stats of what he can do, what his parameters are, and
Yeah,
you
his
might
cuts and his swelling
right
abilities.
right and with that, then it can be as better if you didn't sim it or if you simmed it. So they can write those parameters when they're doing the code. But that would be a perfect thing to play in these things, to use hand in hand, and to implement
Yeah, I agree.
trainers properly, trainers and cornermen. Boxer
Okay.
stare down. I think that's part of the presentation. I think
That always should be there, and it's like EA took it out, put it back, took it out, put it back, and some of them be too. They're like the same animations.
yeah.
Every boxer doesn't do the same animation when he's stand down,
I'm trying to remember what was the what that was the Fight Night Champions is when they had that one in there, or
and it was like
was it
it felt like a cutscene because it wasn't a stare down. Then he right back in the corner.
Oh,
What you scared of first?
you're talking about like the in ring.
Like you, yeah, like you
Oh,
walk up to
okay,
the guy.
okay. I was thinking about the outer ring. I'm talking about promotions.
Oh, yeah, you talking
That's what I
about
was thinking. That's my bad. We were talking about two different things
yeah,
there. I was thinking about
yeah,
the
that
promotions where they do the press conference. That's what
yeah,
I was
press.
thinking.
That's dealing with press conferences and stuff.
I was thinking that, but I think they shot both. I think they no,
Yeah,
actually championship. Yeah, they did have it, but it didn't. It was meaningless.
yeah, and then I had that oomph to it that people look for. Then give you nothing to look forward to.
They can do it a little bit more interactive, to where you got the ref and yo, listen, if 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 since see this would be a perfect thing, and like I said, I'm not biased to anybody. I hold no biases, but I'm definitely going to be real, and I definitely will call whatever team out on what I see, if it's some BS or not. But since Hard Knocks has a ref that is doing YouTube, they should definitely have the options to either have this stare down to where the ref is giving the instructions, and you should have the options to either touch gloves or not, and
Yeah,
that can create rivalries.
yes, yeah. That I like that idea. I like that.
And that would be a perfect thing, especially seeing that they have this quote unquote face as their ref. Just saying.
And I hope it's not, this me as a Bucks fan. I just hope they don't have just one referee because that get annoying to fans
Yeah,
seeing the same ref.
yeah. They should definitely have. I think refs should be a thing in boxing games. And and grabbing should be another thing, because grabbing is not really a thing in any boxing game. They just they fail. They fail on it when they do it. Like the clinching, the clinching,
Yeah.
like they
That
completely fail.
and I with EA, I actually talked to the devs about that, and they did it for on purpose because they want you to constantly slug out,
See,
rock 'em, sock 'em, robots.
that's not boxing though, man.
Exactly.
That's arcade. That's not boxing. Like, look, if I need a breather, I'm gonna grab you. Or if I'm a bigger man and you're a littler fighter, I'm gonna grab you and I'm gonna lean on you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna drain you down.
Klitschko.
Right.
How you got Klitschko in the front? They had Klitschko in the game, and he couldn't beat Klitschko.
That's what I'm saying. Like they need a. I hope hopefully, man. Hopefully, as a fan, hopefully we get a boxing game that's not just rock'em sock'em robots.
Yeah,
And I fear that we are gonna and I fear on both ends. I honestly fear on both ends that we're gonna get a rock'em sock'em robots, and I don't like
and the
that.
thing about that, I'm gonna be any game that comes out with a Rock'em Sock'em robot. I'm gonna be their worst enemy.
I would be a vocal. I would be a vocal, as more vocal than I am now. I'll definitely be, because that's to me, man. I Yo, if I should be able to grab you, or if I'm rocked, I shouldn't always depend on my blocking. You see what I'm saying? And this is
Yeah,
and we'll segue into knockdowns and stuff. But if me and you were playing and you throw a hook and you rock me, I'm I shouldn't just depend on strictly my blocking. That's the most stupidest thing, because it's not true to boxing. It's not a simulation of boxing, because me, on how I would work, is not like, yo, I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna try to get my character to grab your your character to where I can get my marbles back together to where
Yeah, that's
I'm not
that's
on that queer
realistic.
street. That yeah, and you know that's where the referee plays in. And Hard Knock Nights, if you're listening, think about this. That's where the if you're grabbing and you're grabbing too much, you know they can yo. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. I'm warning. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
give us this boxing feel. That's what I'm saying. Now let's segue into more knockdowns and more knockout animations. Um, that was a bad case, man. That was a bad thing. And to me, it's not said. Nobody really talked about it, but that was a death of that was a big problem where people were getting tired of the fighting game itself, Fight Night,
yeah,
is because
yeah,
it always felt the same, and they always came out year in year out every time that they were putting out a game, they were talking about oh you're I remember was it round four or was it champions where they
it's
said
round four.
no
That's
hold up
round four.
where they
If it's talk
said
about knockdowns, it's round four.
that you're not going to see the same knockdown
Mm,
animation, um you're not going to see the same one. And there was
yeah,
an interview with these guys saying this, and I remember it. And I have a even though I did take a massive blow in my accident when I got hit by that drunk driver, and my all I had on was my motorcycle helmet, but I still have a rock solid memory. And I do remember that dev saying for EA saying that you're never going to see the same animation for the
yeah.
knockdowns.
It was Blizzle. Yeah, and if he was talking about the alpha, yeah, the alpha had crazy knockdowns. Because
And,
I don't know if I remember, I told you Mike Tyson, he got hit with a punch and he fell into the ropes.
yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yes. I'm like, yo, what happened?
And that like they need to work on like that's mocap, man. That's mocap. I don't want to see animated stuff. I want to see mocap with these knockouts, with these knockdowns. Body shots where you can simulate a body shot with a motion capture where a guy goes down
Mm,
and you know gives him one of those who was it, De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins body shots. Remember that fight
yeah. Yeah.
when Bernard hit him. I w-
Shit, I want delayed reaction knockouts.
yeah, that would be
And
nice too. Um, you know when Hopkins hit De La Hoya with that body shot, and De La Hoya just like oof, and he just turned around and went down to one knee. Man,
yeah,
you know what? Like if they get, I don't want to see these run of the mill free animations. I want to see some mocap. I want to see now you can do it, man. It's out there. It's out there. I don't want to hear excuses to where nobody's no nobody's pressuring anybody. Yeah, the fans want to see the game, but we're on your guys. We're on everybody else's time. We're on the developers' time because without the developer showing us anything, we're never going to see it. We can talk about oh we want to see it, we want the game. When is it coming out? When is it coming out? But it's on them to do that. So when people try to make up the excuse of the you know the time frame and the pressure and this and this and this, yeah, there's pressure, but don't fold to that. Put out something that people are gonna go, oh, yo, Poe, did you see that trailer? Did you see that gameplay? Not, yo, Poe, did you see that garbage trailer? Did you see
yeah,
that garbage gameplay? Like, there's a big difference. Cause if you see the first one, you're gonna go posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, posting on Twitter. posting everywhere you can because you're gonna get hyped about this game, and that's what we need. That's what we need as a fan. That's what we need. We don't need don't sell us short. That's all I'm saying about that. But more ring walks, longer ring problems. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk on this one. Go ahead. What's your ideas on that?
Yeah, the ring walk seemed like a very short cut scene. They like didn't have no fanfare or no build up to it. And to me the ring walk should actually be on if you're dealing with boxers, you're dealing with how long how much they have when they do their ring walks. If they have that big orchestrated ring walks, or if you're going to Europe, fighting in Europe, they have them elaborate, you know, ring walks and stuff.
Not just Europe, but they also do them in some of the events in Canada.
Yeah, and Canada. Yeah, if give fans, if I want to push a button to cut the ring walk short, all right, but give fans that I know it might be more animation or whatever, but they'll give fans that realism. They've been asking for it.
I
That's
think
one of the things that fans ask for in the EA forums a lot.
yeah, I think that in this aspect, they need to take a page out of WWE 2K
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to where
yeah.
you can actually design your ring walk, and I think they had it in oh man, what fight night was it?
I think it was one of the fight nights
What fight night
that you
was
could
it?
pick what kind of ring walk you wanted to come out doing.
Or was it the
You're right.
knockout? It was either Fight Night or Knockout Kings. Rather, same series, same series.
Yeah,
I don't care what name you slap
it's
on it.
one of them, but I remember
Same
that. Yeah,
series.
you're right.
But they had that. But it wasn't as in depth as WWE 2K was, but
Mm-hmm.
it was there. Now, if they did it to where you can design it to where you have, let's say, you want to do a Deontay Wilder style, or you want to do a how Tyson Fury came out this last fight, or how
Prince
um,
Nassim.
Press Nassim used to come out. You can do these things to where you get the option to, and you can do it on the career mode. Um, Doing it on the online, I mean, it's doable. You can do it. You can do it. It should be an option to do
Oh,
it
I
online
think it will work online
because
because you know how fans want to show off to their
that's
competitors or their
that's what I'm
friends.
thinking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Um, and yeah, I think that should be definitely a staple in the game. They should have that definitely part of the game, to where you design and customize your ring walk, not just some random whatever. It's just a like see, Fight Night Champion and Fight Night Round Four had horrible ring walks, man. Because it was all the same.
yeah,
It's all the same,
yeah.
and
You're right.
even the commentary was damn near all the same. Um, and then moving on, you said we touched on this one last week
Two or
with the
three
retake.
different versions of some fighters.
Yeah. On
Now this, I'm starting to think about it. Is this a resource thing? Because you actually
no
doing three models,
no
but
it,
to me, it's
it
not
wouldn't
really three
it wouldn't
models because
it
you
would
all you're doing is change.
it wouldn't be that it wouldn't be that hard. It wouldn't like it. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be some time to do it. Yes, and I'm not going to downplay anybody's like, oh, it's easy to do. You can with a snap of the fingers. No, it is gonna take a little bit of work, but it's work
Little.
that's doable. It's not something that you're going all out on, but it's doable because it's changing the body size. It's changing the body size a little bit. Make it a more defined or or less defined. Um, Older, different hairstyle, different gloves, different trunks. Now I'm simplifying it. It can get
Yeah,
a lot more in depth than that, but for the most part, you can make. I mean, just look at Foreman and Fight Night Champion, right?
yeah,
Okay, so remember there was a the different foremans. There was a young foreman and there's an old foreman.
You only get the young one with I forget what some brand company you had to get it like a
Yeah, yeah, like
you had to buy
ever
pre-order or something.
Everlast or whatever the case, whatever it was. But yeah, um, but like you can do these things. I don't think like it should be a part of the just straight offline mode exhibition only, to where it has these different versions. Now, if you're trying to implement in the legacy mode, I don't think there should be these versions should be excluded, and you should be able to pick which one you want to put in the rankings.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's a good call.
and and there should be that career path for them. Like if you pick, and he's mentioned on here quite a bit, Roy Jones, my favorite boxer. Um, if you pick let's say you're starting out as a middleweight, you can pick a Roy Jones middleweight to interject in your middleweight class, right?
Uh huh.
And if either even if you decide to move up or not, that Roy Jones will still have the same career path as Roy Jones, his live counterpart, did, where he went middleweight, light. I mean, he went super middleweight, but but middleweight in general. And then
Yeah.
then he goes to light heavy, and then he jumps up to heavy. And if you follow that same career path, you'll be able to face him in those areas. I think that would be a good play. Like they
Hold
should look.
on. Let me get this straight. Like you saying, like suppose I don't know if you talking about how the career set up. So one like if you wanted to, you could put Roy Jones already at heavyweight, and then you could have him as his middleweight.
Hmm.
That's
Say,
not
say
what you're saying,
say
or is that what you're saying?
say you have three Roy Joneses, right, in the game.
Yeah.
So you have and Fight Night. Everybody's had this where you had a middleweight Roy Jones, you have a light heavyweight, and then you have a heavyweight Roy Jones, right?
Uh huh.
Now, on the career mode or slash legacy mode, whatever you want to call it, whatever the company's calling it, you have the option to put one of those three in your career mode. But if let's say if you're picking your created character is going to be a middleweight, and you want to implement Roy Jones middleweight, you're going to pick the Roy Jones middleweight. You're going to check mark him. You're going to deselect the other two Roy Joneses, and that middleweight Roy Jones will have his own career path that's separate from yours. Like you don't control him at all. You don't control him at all. But that Roy Jones will have he will move up the ranks just as you were in your career mode, and then at certain points he will leave the middleweight division and move to the light heavyweight division, and then he'll leave the light heavyweight division and go to the heavyweight division, and then come back down. He'll have that same career path as he would as his real life story played out. And
Yeah.
every
I
box
like how that
and
sounds.
and every boxer that has these kind of things going on, and if you implement those boxers in that in your career mode, they'll have the similar uh um what do you call it, outcomes as their real life counterparts.
Yeah, I like that.
Like if you pick a Manny Pacquiao, now if you put a Manny Pacquiao in lightweight,
Light, yeah, lightweight, featherweight.
if you put him in as lightweight, he'll eventually move up to, let's say, you're a welterweight. You'll eventually see him as a welterweight fighting you, or fighting in the welterweight ranks.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Fans are really back run behind that.
I think that like they should have predetermined what do you call it, fight paths, career paths. and they could do so because it's all about treating the like you script it, and it's all scripting on the development end. It's doable. It's there. I know it can be done. Um, and I'm looking at thinking about my knowledge of the development and the back end on how things are done. They can do that very, I wouldn't say easy. Like I say easy, but it's not easy. I mean, it takes work. And these guys that do make games, yes, they're talented in their aspects. They're in their ways, but it's doable. It's there, and with the right people and the right ideas and the right focus, they can do these things. And I think that would be an awesome idea because that's what will spice up the career mode and the legacy mode, the career slash legacy mode, because I think they're one and the same, whatever you want to call it. Because if you pick, because you're not gonna now say you wanna be an 8-time world champion because you wanna follow Manny Pacquiao, but you don't want to pick Manny Pacquiao. You can do the same thing in your career mode or your legacy mode, whatever you want to call it, and other fighters will do the same thing. And you might catch, let's say, you might catch a Mikey Garcia around that same time where he's moving up, when you're moving up, and then you could then game presentation plays into that to where you can make this big mega fight. Just an idea. Just an idea.
Yes, I like it.
Just an idea. Um, okay, yeah, we all right. So anything else on the past,
More
present?
venue.
Pat, no, I'm talking
No,
about the fighters. All right. So more venues in the game now. What are we talking about here?
more places to fight. More like if they can get the historic spots, Atlantic City, or fighting in different cities. I guess, and worldwide. Different places that fights have taken care. Even if you able to edit a arena or a venue to be the thing that I mean that place where fighters fought at.
Okay. But some of these guys don't know where fights are at.
That's where the research come in. Right now, it's no excuse for nobody nowadays. You got Google.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm with you on that one. I for just assets wise, and I'm thinking of memory and limitations on the development side of what you can put, all the things you can put in your game, because
Mm,
there are some limitations. Um, I think there should be just for the boxing fans, where it's kind of almost a dig to where we'll understand it, but a casual fan is not going to understand it. But I think there should be, as you were saying, I'm just going to go in deeper of that. There should be these historical, excuse me, these historical arenas, the Coliseum, uh, the Cow Palace in San Francisco, you know, Madison Square Garden, you know, uh, it should span the globe. It shouldn't just be America. It should span the
yeah,
globe. The I don't know what the Philippine arena was then, but like the arena in the Philippines for Thriller in Manila. You know what I'm saying? Um, damn, what is that one famous place in London where all like almost everybody used to fight there?
I can't remember.
Oh, was it the Governor's Hall, Viceroy, something like that? It was some there's like there should have these historic places as venues, um, along with taking a page out of that WWE is where you can design arena.
Yeah, especially the ones that you might not be able to get the rights to use it or anything. So the fans be like, all right, I create it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you on arenas. I'm with everybody on arenas. Arenas should be there. Should be historical ones, and uh, I mean Thomas Mack Center. It should be MGM. They should, they should have a plethora of different style of venues.
Yeah.
More corner animations, boxing standing in the corner, uh, standing upright, sitting stool. Now, is this just what does this have to entail? What is your guys' view on this? Like everybody that implemented this list. Now,
Now this
is this
was
based
this
is this based off of what happens during the fight?
yes.
Like if you're
I
tired,
think this more you could pick to choose to stand up or sit down, like forming or it's up to you what you want to do when you go back to the corner. What you think?
mm, I'm just trying to think game cycle because gameplay cycle that's a big thing when you're developing a game is gameplay cycle.
Hmm.
Um, see my question to you is where are you going to pick this?
That's a good question too. Um,
Is
cause
it going to be pre-fight?
my thing is like you're gonna have animation in the corner regardless, cause your corner gonna be doing things. Now when
Is it
it's
going to be
actual
pre-fight?
boxing,
Is it going to be pre-fight? Online, offline?
no,
When is it going to be?
I guess it should be either you get to choose. Like, yeah, before fight, do you want to stand or you want to sit? Do you want your boxer to stand or sit when he goes back to the corner?
Now, online or offline?
Either or.
Okay. Um, Now, does this play of now? This is questions I'm asking. This like,
Presentation was
right?
that's it.
Does
The
is this going to play an effect of your health and your stamina?
I don't see it because George Foreman used that's a good thing too. In a latter part of his career, he started standing up.
Yeah. And then
He stayed up.
you had Tyson Fury doing that
Yeah,
on the was it the Klitschko fight or was it his first fight or first or second fight back?
I think it was the Klitschko fight. I'm not sure. Cause for sure we be all over the place.
You got to pull the mic away. It got
Oh yeah, he
sort.
be You hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Tyson Fury be all over the place.
yeah.
I don't remember.
Or it might have been a mix between fights too. Like it might have happened like once or twice during the fight or whatever. But I remember it happening and him doing it. But yeah, I mean I like it. Um,
Cause I see a lot of tall fighters mostly do it because they don't want to bend bend their knees to sit down.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think one time they had an actual tall stool and Tyson Fury was somebody corner because
Well, they have
he
it.
didn't want to sit over down.
They have it in Tyson Fury's now. Tyson Fury's, AJ's, and Wilder's. Because if you notice, they're sitting like a lot higher above the ropes almost.
Yeah,
And it's not because they're tall. They're sitting on a higher stool because they're not sitting down. They're not sitting on a normal stool as regular everybody would use. They are sitting on
yeah,
taller stools. Um, I like the idea. It's just a matter of when you're going to implement it or how you would implement it during the fight. And do you press a button before the when the round ends? Like is there a little prompt that pops up or what? Like that's
yeah.
the thing.
That does seem like a good idea. A better breakdown. Yeah, you should be prompt to sit down or stand up.
Hmm.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Fighters go into neutral chronos before they're not when they're after a knockdown. Uh, yes.
I missed that. Westcom used to do it, Knockout Kings, and I think like two of the earlier fight nights.
I I think you should be able to, like, if you just now is see, this is where I'm torn. It's like, should it be automatic?
Oh yeah,
Maybe I'm thinking more too in depth of
yeah. You take it too depth because
it.
the way you're thinking, it could be a good idea because you got to referee keep saying, go to the corner. Now you're giving your the guy that you knocked down time to recover, and you just stand there not thinking because you happy that you knocked him down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it controlled? Is it not controlled? Should it be controlled?
I'm see now you got me torn between
Should
the
should you be able to control it to where you're pressing, like, you're tapping X to run to the neutral corner? Like, remember,
wow. Yeah,
because I'm thinking,
you like really yeah
because
you
I'm
really
think
putting twists on it.
because I'm thinking, I'm like I said, I have some knowledge of development, so I'm thinking, okay, all right, so and then I'm thinking about other fights that happened, like when what do you call it got when AJ got knocked down, when Andy Ruiz knocked down AJ. What did Andy Ruiz do? That motherfucker ran.
Yeah, because they didn't want to get him let him get no time to get himself together. And
He
like
ran.
that's just smart.
He ran to the corner.
Now Magneto walk, he'd have gave him all types of time to get himself together.
Like I think maybe it should, like, if you're pressing like X or whatever controller you're doing, X or what is it, B or A or whatever, B I think it is, like X on PlayStation, B on Xbox or something like that. If you're pressing a button, you should be able to it should be able to run. It should go automatically, but you should have the choice of pressing a button to make them go faster.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a compromise there. Um, because that can also affect if you're going to be able to jump on the boxer, right? Like if you're, you know, you want to get him out of there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, boxer's going to nuke. Okay, we touch on that. All right. So footwork.
Footwork.
Many boxers have different ways to move around the ring. Indeed, indeed. But that goes back to motion capture.
Okay.
I don't think that's something animatable. You're gonna have to have somebody that watched film and knows the boxers and translates it into motion capture. But that can be very costly.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because you could tell EA got somebody to do Muhammad Ali, but they they got to me they should have got somebody athletic, because he was like he was plotting, like trying to move, dance around the ring, and he looked like he was like heavy foot, like he was heavy,
Hmm.
like the old Ali.
Yeah.
So
So
if you do somebody, if you get motion capture, the person got to be athletic as well as being able to do each character that I mean he's doing.
and that goes back to what I've been saying too. You have to have different people doing different things. You can't have one person do all the motion capture because it's gonna start to look the same.
Yeah,
I mean that's just how humans work because we're putting our spin to it. So the Roy Jones might look like a sweet pea, or you know what I'm saying, like it's going to start blending. So that's why you should have different people, at least a couple different people doing the different motion captures. um, Ring entrances, let's get through up to 7 and then we'll call it at the realism and
okay,
accuracy. um, all right, so ring entrance, bigger entrance, we touched this.
yeah,
If your main event, yeah, see, like, be more of a production style. um, Different stance when you're in the ring. Yeah, yeah. When you're getting up in it, yeah, we should be able to customize our entrances, and that goes along with the ring walk there. Um, Ring announcements, celebrations, bad intentions, bull move. Yeah, Yeah, I like Jermaine Taylor. It's kind of sad with everything that's going on with him.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually reached out to him.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Decisions should be made more real life. Uh, cut to Teddy Atlas, who gives a scorecard, Letterman style. Okay, yeah, I think they should have I think they should have like a HBO Showtime type of cast when they're the ring announcers.
yeah,
I think there should be that dynamics there, kind of like how there is almost kind of like EA, but EA doesn't really have that fully. But yeah, they do, kind of do. During the game, they have the announcers and stuff. But yeah, I think they should have that HBO feel because I loved HBO's style, and Showtime actually copied HBO's. I feel. Um, True broadcast cam. What do you mean by that?
that was one of the other guys from the wish list. I guess they talking about the true way you see it, like when the cameraman is at ringside and everything. You have a better view because some of the EA the way they did it didn't even look that good as like you're looking at a boxing match. I
Yeah,
guess
but
that's what I was talking about.
that's kind of hard to. That would only, but if you're controlling the box, it would kind of be hard. That's a thing. Like if you're spectator mode, yeah, okay, I could see that. But you're controlling the boxer, so control wise, it has to be a certain way. The camera has to be a certain way, control wise. Because if you're standing in a like on the corner and you're looking into the ring, how are you gonna do the controls for your boxer? Because it's the what do you call it is a little bit too far. If that camera's there, it's too up close and it's too like because the ring is big, like, and there's different angles. See,
Yeah,
because
I
there's
understand.
a
It's
there's a
basically gonna give you that third person like view, and you just looking at yourself fighting from somewhere else
yeah
instead of you like getting that over the shoulder look.
yeah it would be that on the apron kind of thing. It would I don't think that would be right. It has to be kind of like a 2004 probably like 2004's was Fight Night 2004's. Um,
Yeah,
Teletape, they should definitely have teletape. Always have teletape,
yeah,
and they should always have a breakdown through every round. It should have your uh, CompuBox, and
yeah,
then go to each corner on presentation wise, or you go to, it goes to one corner on one round, and it goes to a corner on the other round. But it should still have the CompuBox numbers and all that stuff pop up part of the presentation, just like how HBO used to do. Um, a list of gloves that's needed for Fight Night Round
Now,
5.
notable wins and losses, you skipped
Oh,
it.
notable wins and losses. Yeah, well, that's part of the teletape, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the ones, the next one, we do that another time because this a long list. Yeah, we're getting the show off with that.
Okay. Um, with that said, my guys, my peoples that are watching this, I'm gonna end it as I say it all the time. We're boxing fans. I'm a boxing fan. Poe's a boxing fan. He's also a gamer. I'm also a gamer myself. And everybody that's staying tuned and being aware of the boxing games that are being made. We're all boxing fans and we're gamers. We want a boxing game that's true to boxing. We don't want some hybrid boxing game that's mixed between a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, arcade style boxing game. We want a boxing game that we can pick up and we can play through either character modes or whatever. But we want something what we're seeing. on TV and when we're watching boxing, we want to feel the same thing. Um, let your guys' voice be heard. Tell these developers what you guys want. I would love to see you guys in the comments a lot more to put these ideas, um, push back on some of these ideas, ask for more clarification on some of these ideas. Be active to where these developers and these companies that are making the games will have something to go by. Um, at the end of the day, it's our money that's putting up that we're going to be buying the product, and I think everybody deserves a proper boxing game, especially if you're buying it. Just don't let somebody force feed you and say, "Here, this is what you're getting," just because there's no boxing games out there. Um, like, subscribe, comment, links for the list. I'll put the link for the new list, the revised list, in the description. Links for my Twitch, my Instagram, my Twitter will be in the description. Poe, what you got, man?
Yeah, you come go to my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go to round for round. Just be respectful and just say what you want in the game. And if you can, talk to your favorite boxers and tell them. One of my main thing is boxing and boxers should invest in a boxing video game. It's up to you. So if you invest in something, your voice has to be heard because it's your money. So just be adamant about what you want and respectful, and just we'll talk more on the next show. Thanks for just coming in and listening to us.
Indeed, indeed. Links, remember, I'm going to push this again, this last thing. Links for Discord. If you guys are not aware of Discord, Discord is a service that you can um, chat on, and PC gamers use it for voice chat. Um, and you can it's also chat rooms and also where you can post things, post ideas, post wish list, what you want in there. There is a link for the round for round Discord in the description. There's also a link for the boxing wish list in the description. There's also a link for download, and you can download it if you don't have a PC. If you're not on computer, you can download it on your phone, Android or iOS. Yeah, Android or iOS via Apple. So either or, you can get it on your phone, and you can stay in contact to where you can get your information out there where you can be heard. Guys have any questions? Leave them in a comment. But that's all I got, guys. That's from me and Poe. Until next time, remember Sundays and Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Boxing Wish List channel, man. This is what we're doing right here on Knoxville Gaming. So you guys have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.